Hello, beautiful beings. As I was starting to go live, I realized that there is this beautiful beacon of light that just came in, and we're going to welcome it. I am excited to talk about this concept because I recently understood what it actually means to be a healed healer. This is a concept from A Course in Miracles. And I've been toying with that concept and asking people, do I understand it correctly? And as usual, we already have been gifted with the things that we're seeking. It turns out that I've been practicing as a healed healer for a long time through a very simple process that I learned in silent meditation retreats, through what the Buddha refers to as sending loving kindness to other people and touching the suffering of others with compassion. And I've been doing that for a really long time. And I want to share how I realized that is what the Course in Miracles refers to as the healed healer. So I'm going to start with the story of how I found out that that's the same thing as a healed healer, something that happened this week. I will then proceed to, let's see, what did I have in my agenda? I want to cover a powerful metaphor for you to remember what the healed healer means, because if I was asking myself about the healed healer, if am I doing it right, I imagine other people are also wondering if they're doing it correctly. I know I have, and I've asked many teachers about this, and I keep asking the same question. So I want to offer a powerful metaphor that I also learned this week, and hopeful that you will leverage it moving forward. And then I will proceed to explain in detail the 3 very simple step process that I've been using for a long time. And I have seen the power of applying those 3 steps. So that's the 3rd thing that I'm going to cover in the video. And if we have time, I am going to explain why it works. And so let's start with how I found out that what I've been doing is the same thing as what the Course in Miracles refers to as the healed healer. I'm going to lower the volume here. So earlier this week, I saw this YouTube interview of someone who's been sharing the teachings from the course for a while, and the title was, do you want to help and serve others? And so of course I want to help and serve others, so I clicked on the title. It was in Spanish, and there were several people interviewing this teacher, and one of the interviewers said, I have found so much peace through doing the work of A Course in Miracles, and I so much aspire to share what has been so rewarding for me. And sometimes I can't find the words to express. And in that moment, I realized that I understand what she was saying. I understood what she was saying because I have related to that thought system so many times. And I'm going to take an opportunity to say I've discussed several videos where I've gone to diving into what our thoughts do. The video called What is the Veil of the Mind? And the video that I discuss, Why We Feel Stuck or Broken. Those 2 videos, and many of them, I will post link to other videos that discuss the power of our thoughts. So back to this story, this girl that's interviewing the Course in Miracles teacher says is very powerful aspiration. And in one hand, I understand her aspiration. I also understand that there's a thought system in her mind that she has believed in that is telling her that she is not, that she doesn't have the words to express the peace that she has found within, and she has identified with that thought system. So in hearing her say that, I saw her pain. I saw how I've done that myself. And I saw, oh, there's a thought system that she's still identifying with. And what I did in that moment, actually, I'm going to give you a preview of the 3-step process. What I did in that moment was use the proper, what the Course in Miracles refers to as the proper use of denial. In that moment, I went ahead and did the thing I do in mindfulness and vipassana, silent meditation. I started denying what she was experiencing in this way. I know who you are in truth. May your peace be the vehicle that expresses through you. May it be your inner state of well-being that brightens every single room and authentically expresses itself. So I started sending her how I apply the tool of sending loving kindness. And I didn't think much of it. The meeting, the YouTube video ended, the meeting ended, and that same day, I'm sitting with my best friend, and he used to play a video game called World of Warcraft. Now, please excuse me, I really don't have a background in gaming or in any of it, but I was curious about what he was saying because he was explaining that there is this character. By the way, this is the second thing I wanted to cover in this video, which is the powerful metaphor to understand what a healed healer is. So I'm going to now go into that powerful metaphor so that you remember what a healed healer is. So this is the metaphor of what a healed healer is. This is how I understood that the healed healer is the same thing I've been doing for a long time. In talking to my friend, he's explaining, there is this character, he's showing me in his laptop, there is this character, it's a character that has this magical power that can have damage to this dragon enemy. And the character is like shooting, basically attacking this enemy. And it's a pretty complicated game, but I'm going to make it pretty simple. The character has like some numbers that are coming out of it saying how much damage the character is receiving from the dragon, the enemy. And then there is another character. There's a bunch of characters, but there's one in particular that interested me because my friend said, now this third character is healing the one who's fighting the enemy. And I thought that was curious. I was like, well, that's interesting. Who's healing the character who's in the battle? And he said, the priest does the healing. So there's other characters. One of them is a priest that does the healing to the character that's fighting an enemy. And when I heard that, I realized that's literally what just happened earlier that day. I realized, oh my gosh, Now let's use that powerful metaphor to the example I just gave earlier. So I hear this authentic call from this woman who is interviewing a teacher from A Course in Miracles, and she herself wants to serve. She herself wants to help. And she's finding that she doesn't have the words to express herself and to pass on that inner state of well-being that she has received. So she is now the character who has this very authentic inner desire, but she's fighting something inside of her that is telling her that she's not ready, that she doesn't have the right words, that she's struggling with this, thought systems. So the thought systems are the enemy. They're the dragons. They're the fearful energies that she is basically battling. And here comes the healed healer, or the priest in the metaphor, and starts healing the character who's fighting the enemy. Now, the same exact concept is applied to this realm, because this isn't someone that I know. This is someone I found on YouTube, but we're all one mind. That is the primary truth that we need to start becoming curious about. How could it possibly be that we could be one mind? Well, this is where curiosity and a lot of practice and a lot of allowing for something different to come into our awareness comes in. So because we are one mind, I am sending her healing. I am sending this woman what I've learned from the principles of silent meditation, loving kindness, the teachings of the Buddha. I am saying to her, I see your pain. I have actually witnessed that within myself. This is compassion. Compassion. What is compassion? The ability to see the pain in someone else and have the desire to alleviate it. That's the definition of compassion. I see your pain. I am willing to alleviate your pain. May your pain ease. May you live in peace. So that's the traditional wording for this application. For sending compassion to another being, sending loving kindness, a traditional way in mindfulness would be, may you experience life with kindness, and may you be well. May you be peaceful, and I'm thinking of a song from Thich Nhat Hanh. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be happy. So this is a traditional way to send loving kindness to a person. And I've done this so often. I do this all the time. I did it in that video, in the example I'm sharing. And so bottom line, in the moment that my friend was explaining this character in a video game and how that character was battling an enemy and how someone sees the character losing life force and sends healing to that character, that's the exact same thing we're doing. That's literally the concept of being a healed healer that A Course in Miracles talks about. And I was excited about it. I told my daughter about it, and I'm creating this video to share what a healed healer is and how we go about practicing that. So it's a very simple 3-step process that I've been using, and I'm going to share that with you now. So I've already covered it, but to summarize, a step-by-step process to correctly practice sending loving kindness, sending compassion, practicing being a healed healer when we perceive distress in another person. So there's 3 simple steps. Number 1, you perceived a distress. You perceived a suffering in the other person. You perceived a distress. The Course in Miracles calls this, you perceive the call for love. So you perceive the fear that they're presencing with, that they're tapping into. That's step number 1. There's no need to say anything. There's no need to fix the other person. So I'll cover that in another video, because in the past I've thought, no, I need to tell the other person this is what they're doing wrong, and they need to fix. None of that. It's actually helpful. And I'll cover that in another video. No need to say anything to the other person at all. Simply witness that they're in suffering. You witness the call for love. And in your own internal realm, you have a genuine desire to alleviate their suffering. Yeah. So this leads us to the second step. So the second step, I'm writing it down because I do this just by practicing it, but I wanted to break it down in 3 steps. They're kind of all intermingled. As usual, when I break things down, they're all intermingled. But you perceive the pain, and you see within yourself that you want to alleviate their suffering. So that leads to then step number 2 is what the Course in Miracles refers to as the correct use of denial, which is, in essence, you know their truth. You know that they are the expansive life force that created the entire universe, that created this entire life system. That life force energy emanates from every single one of us. Of course, we are just as vast, just as powerful, just as creative as that creative life force. And that's who they are in truth. And you know that's who they are in truth. And you deny their pain by simply knowing who they are and wishing them well. May you be happy. May you fill in the blank. The traditional Buddhist practice is, may you be happy, may you be well, may you live with peace, may you live with ease, things like that. But substitute that with fill in the blank of the pain, the suffering that you're perceiving in the other. And so that's step number 2. And then step number 3, I am adding this because it's something that I have learned to do, which is just enjoy the feeling that comes from knowing their truth, witnessing their pain, but still you basically you see where they are, but you don't buy into their story. And that there's a joy in that. There is a sense of fulfillment that comes from knowing the truth in another person, and without having to fix them, wish them well. And there's a joy that comes. So bask in that joy, because that joy it's basically your own healing. When you give to others, you give to yourself. And so I'm just going to briefly cover how it works. I'm not sure exactly how long this video has gone already, but that's basically the gist of what I wanted to talk about. The way it works, if you're curious about how all of this is working, well, there are a few things. And perhaps it's easiest to leave this for another video, but in a gist, the way it works is that we're the ones perceiving their pain. And so if we're perceiving their pain, we have believed something. We have believed something. We have believed something because we're the ones perceiving their pain. And so in a way, when we are helping them feel safe as they're battling the enemy, as I mentioned in the metaphor, we are the ones who are actually tapping into the truth, into the vibration of truth that goes beyond the internal battle that they're having, internal battle that we're having. And so in us doing this kind of practice, we're literally tapping to the truth, the life force itself, the infinite life force that is ever loving, ever extending, ever healing. There's actually even saying that is incorrect, because in truth, there's nothing that needs to be healed, because only truth is truth and nothing but truth is real. And so that, again, a topic for perhaps a longer video, but that's in essence why it works, because we're really tapping into the field that is life-giving. And in giving life to others, giving truth to others, we're actually giving it to ourselves. And so I'll leave it at that. I want to say, if you find these videos helpful, this is the first time I'm going live on YouTube, please comment, like, subscribe, share, so that I know that these videos are helpful and I'm just inspired to do more of them. As an FYI, I am going to be leaving to another 6 weeks of silent retreat starting in 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks. And I'll be gone for 6 weeks. But what I decided to do in discussing this with my daughter is that I'm going to schedule to post several videos that I've never published before, and I just had recorded and they're just sitting there, or things that I have gone live before in Facebook or other social media platforms. So I'm going to share those and schedule those while I'm in silent retreat. And on that note as well, after I return from silence, I am going to share more about the Intentional Evolution Intensive. So I encourage you to sign up for my mailing list, and you will receive a free yet very powerful 3-day self-mastery, Foundations of Self-Mastery summary, which is a summary of the 10-week intensive that I have run for several years. And it's going to be starting soon. So please go ahead and sign up for my mailing list, leverage that free 3-day training, and where I dive into these topics, as well as now you will be able to receive the dates of when the next 10-week program starts. So thank you so much for joining, for your interest in serving and supporting others and alleviating the suffering that we perceive in this world. Because again, when we are willing to see the suffering and not hide from it and actually touch the pain and balance that with the joy of knowing who we are in truth, that's when we actually can transcend our suffering as well as support others in their suffering. So thank you for watching so far. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Until next time.